with us on the line right now. He's been on TMZ a few times in his career, that's for sure. Of course, you know him from 9 Months, True Lies. Oh, man, so many funny movies. Animal Factory, Mr. 3000, Happy Endings. And you know what? I used to love this show. The Best Damn Sports Show, period, was a fantastic show. And he's so nice enough to join us. Tom Arnold. Tom, how you doing, my man?
What's up, Tom? I'm doing well. Wait, is Avenatti not on today? Is he, where is he?
It's funny, Tom. It's funny you mentioned that, Tom, because for those of you that don't know, last time we had Tom on the show, we had Michael Avenatti in studio. They're friends. Michael's not doing so well. Although, Tom, I don't know if you've heard, he's going to be let out for 3 months, right?
I have heard, as is my friend Michael Cohen, my other friend, who did not like each other, who I always said, you guys should team up. You have so much in common. And they are doing, they are doing better. They've both been treated horribly by Donald Trump's Justice Department. But I think they are, Michael Avenatti is certainly, there's been some bullying going on. I always think people should you go to court and whatever happens appropriately. We have this fantastic justice system in this country. And, I don't know what the details are of his cases, but certainly the people have the right to go in and stand before a judge and whatever. But there's been a lot of nonsense that's been done to Michael Avenatti. And
can I ask you, Tom, how is it that Michael Avenatti is in the same jail cell that El Chapo used to have? I mean, we're talking, and listen, I'd say the same thing about Paul Manafort. These are white-collar crimes, and listen, I understand it. He's a convicted felon now. But I agree with you. There's some shenanigans going on there. But how is it that he is being treated like a serial killer?
Well, screw Paul Manafort. But he's bad. But let me just say this. When this is over, then Michael Avenatti, he's a tough guy, Michael Avenatti, and he'll have, he can handle it.
No, I agree with you.
He's better, but there's that thing of all the people of color, the young people that don't get a chance, that in this country that just get slammed in there for whatever, for having some marijuana or whatever, and they get. They throw pregnant women in there. They do, the justice system is not fair. And, Michael Avenatti made a name for himself standing up for people. So,
you're right.
Maybe he comes out of this better and wiser and, we get through this and, he wishes he was in with El Chapo because he figured a way to get out of there. And they'd be, where he was. You could get out of where he was pretty easy. And, and nobody's going to be rough. Nobody's going to be throwing around El Chapo. Even, people be scared, Epstein figured out a way to get out of there. No, I'm kidding. He died.
Not the right way, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, how are you holding up? I have to ask you. How are you, Tom?
I'm here. My kids have been home from school here for 5.5 weeks. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. They're wonderful. We've been homeschooling. I have two Zooms every morning, which then we have the homework or whatever it's called, and it's great. But it's it's great having them here, but we'll be it's great. It's great. It's a lot.
It sounds like you're really having a great time, Tom.
Tom, I'm on the same page. I've got my 2-year-old, and I've spent more time around her in the last 2 months than I've spent around pretty much anybody before. And I'm sure you're in that same boat. Yeah.
Yeah, their mom's a handful, but
Tom, are you losing your mind? Be honest.
Well, but we went to bed too early last night. I got their rooms looking excellent. I got these Murphy beds installed, and they have for 3 years they've slept in my bed. So I was like, dude, look at these rooms that we decorate them however they want them. But I realized they're still in my bed, and we went to bed too early last night. We have a part-time nanny, and she's like, "Come on, you need to get them on the schedule." I was like, "You're right." Even though and we went to bed too early. We went to bed about 6:15, and so we were up hard at like 5 a.m. and they're watching. They love True Lies. They love my son loves
great movie.
Action movies, and now at first I was like, I don't want them watching stuff with language or violence, and now I'm like, whatever, it's as long as I talk them through it. And
Jamie Lee Curtis was so hot in that movie.
And he also saves his daughter's life, and so I want my daughter likes that, because she's
That's
always
cool.
like, Dad, I'm falling out of the bed. We do this thing over and over about. By the way, we do it about 200 times a day where she pretends she's falling out of the bed, which is awesome about the first 50 times. But, if you're a parent, you have to do repetition is, I am losing my mind. What am I saying? We've had a lot of water balloon baseball in the back. We have a little backyard, and we do say hi to the neighbors. By the way, we moved to a neighborhood where we can see the houses. We always lived with a big wall, and we do have a wall, but you can see the neighbors. And when this is over, we're going to have friends. And they have kids, and we've yelled at them, from 12 feet away. And a lady, by the way, the moms are walking close. There's a lot very attractive moms, I have to say, in this neighborhood.
Do they know who you are? Do they know who you are, these attractive moms? Do they say,
they do. They do. And I make sure, me and my kids are on social media a lot. And, because I'm a 61-year-old single dad with a 7-year-old, and, I've been divorced 4 times. And people would ask me, do you plan on getting married again? And I'd say no. But, of course, you don't make plans like that. But, hi, guys. I have kids walking, but I'm open.
Tom, what's the over/under? How many? We're setting a line over/under on how many of those moms that you've actually spent a night with. I'm saying 3.5. I take the over.
Oh, listen, it's been a long time. I haven't had a date in really 11 years, but it's been a long time. But
what are you talking about? Wait, hold on a second here. Wait, no, hold on. You're not going to get away with that. You're telling me you haven't had a date. You're Tom Arnold. You're a very successful career. You're famous. You're telling me you haven't had a hot date. I don't believe you. You haven't had a hot date in 11 years.
You don't. I'm telling you what. You can't bring a person into this thing. For a long time it was, fighting for the kids and doing all this stuff. And you just got to be ready. You don't just bring a person into that. You got to be ready, and you got to think, were they ready? But the time is when this virus thing is over. I'm telling you.
But Tom, you have a hot. Let's just hypothetical. You have a hot neighbor that just moved in there. She's a hot cougar. You're taking a walk, and all of a sudden you run into her, and she comes on to you. You're telling me you wouldn't go on a date with her?
On a date? There's no dating in California.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
If she's got it. I have gone to Target's so open. You can run it there. Listen, if something happens outside, I'm all for it. There's a pile of wood. There's a snake in there. I might have. Listen, magic happens. They say social distancing, but I've never talked to more people in my life. I've never made more friends. That I was talking. A neighbor walked by, this Iranian older lady. She had a younger, very attractive woman with her, and I was in the driveway cleaning out my car. We started chatting, and she's like, she needs to be with you. Her friend is like, she's setting me up, and she said she's a beautician, and I said I need a haircut. She needs to get in. Please come in. And then about 20 minutes later, I realized she's a dietitian. And she was saying, you're fat, and you need to be with this woman because I've gained, this thing, She wasn't saying she wants to be with you in any other way except you are very fat, and you need to spend time with her. So, but I think it's, there's a lot of great things about this. Like kids, I may be their teacher this next year. We've got all my sports memorabilia. I've got very little left because it's all about the kids. I used to go to games, and my friend wrote me last night, who are you picking tonight? I go, what is tonight? Are the sports back on? No, it's the draft. I go, you guys.
It sucks, isn't it? I know it sucks. I want to ask you a little bit about these press conferences, because some people in the comedy world are saying it's almost like a Saturday Night Live comedy, sketch where he's going after these. What do you make of it?
About your mayor there. Hold on, is that your? Was her dad the mayor for 100 years? Is that the guy
God.
that
Oscar Goodman? No, that's her husband, Oscar. What did you make of that Carolyn Goodman interview?
Oh my God, it's all like the Trump stuff where you just don't make any sense, and nobody really wants to say what they want to say, but they're like, yeah, we want everybody to come back, and we want to come back, and they're thinking about we'll wait till one restaurant gets to the devil. They're all stupid. They don't make any sense. It's because Trump is so stupid. He's exactly like he was 30-some years ago when I met him, and he's exactly like.
Didn't he try to steal your girl? Can you tell that story? Didn't Donald Trump once try to steal your date? You there, Tom? Did we lose you?
Well, no, but am I here?
Yeah. Go ahead, Tom. Yeah, you're there. Go ahead.
Here, Tom.
Okay. Yeah, I was so offended by you saying it. No, but I can't think. I know this. We went to he and Melania and me and one of I went to the pediatric AIDS big Oscar thing together. And the next night he asked me the Playboy Mansion to meet McDougal, and of course I am also a scumbag. There and his daughter. That was when he had done my. No, he was fine when he was that guy. He'd come on the sports show but everybody who knew him was like, oh, this guy is. Well, he's exactly like he is now. Like if there's any bad news, he's not gonna. He's president. He's terrible because the truth about this, people die. Because that's going to look bad on him. The apprentice had to edit out everything. They had to tell him what to say. Everybody knows it. He's going to quit before November, by the way. 100% chance.
You think so?
He's going to. 100%.
Really?
But there's no way. It's getting so bad. There's no way because there are facts. The thing about the virus, it's a real deal, and you can't lie about it, and you can't edit it out. And he's getting more frenzied and frenzied. He's already asking people how he quits. Oh, there's no way. You can fake a lot of things, but this is a real deal, and you just can't fake it. He fire people. He could do this and that, but people, this is a real health thing, and he just can't. He just can't make it about himself. He can't fake it, and he's getting so frustrated. And he's going to quit. 100%, and then he'll say he was the best president ever, and people were bam, and he did everything right. And no, he will absolutely don't quit. And I'm sure he's preparing. I know he's talking to people about it, but it's not his fault. He's always been like this. He has a personality disorder, and it's the people around his fault because they do this. Everybody knows this.
They enable him.
And when you have that narcissistic personality, and they're like, oh, we're making our money, but this thing is a real deal, and you can't fudge it. And you can't.
All right, Tom, let's say hypothetically that
100%.
Let's say that Donald Trump does quit.
Yeah.
All right, Tom. Let's say that Donald Trump does quit. Does Mike Pence run in 2020? And do you think he wins, or is it Joe Biden? And you talked about talked about people being stupid. You could make the argument that Joe Biden isn't exactly mentally there right now either.
Well, here's the thing. Anybody but Trump. Think about Joe Biden. You're right. He's not at his best. He's going to have a very good vice president. He's got people around him, but Trump is just, you just see he's just out of control. I mean, Joe Biden is going to surround himself with excellent, honorable, decent people who are going to put this thing back together. But Trump he'll take the whole thing for his own. He'll just take it right in the grave, fire everybody decent, and just lie about everything. And he'll start something with China, or he's weeping about the North Korea guy being ill and sad. And his letters.
The love letters, yeah.
What he will do.
Yeah,
but it will be
that's true.
The best thing for America or people or my children who might get the virus or people, you know that. And so, I mean, you're right. Joe Biden is not.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Tom. I love getting your take on politics, but it's a lot more fun when I hear about the cougars in your neighborhood that are hitting on you. I really want to hear more about that.
Listen, man, they haven't yet, but I'm telling you, I still got game. I'm telling you, and I started a podcast with my young assistant because we started a podcast that's called Two in the Bush, and it comes up. We'll put it live on Monday. I'll tell you what, she's amazing, Sasha Jax, and she's such a young comedian, and she's such a great assistant. And man, she's just you see some of the videos we've been putting up, and just
wow.
And my friends are like, "Holy hell, how did you get her?" She's amazing, and she's closer to my kids' age. But I'll tell you, she is.
Hey, give out that information. Give out that
podcast.
Give out that information. Yeah. How do people listen to this podcast? You said it's going to come out on Monday.
Listen to our podcast? Well, I think we're going to start by doing. I don't know how we'll put it up on my Instagram and by different things and iTunes and things like that. I should know how to do this better. I should have this better prepared. I'll make sure people know, and I'll get back at you guys.
Oh, is that your kid?
Son. My son got into my Amazon account, and if you talk to that Alexa and just describe something, she will send it to your house. Let me tell you guys, it's been a lot with these kids here. Let me just.
Do you think your kids will ever grow up? Will your kids ever grow up one day and say, "Dad, did you ever sleep with Jamie Lee Curtis?"
Well, no, but listen, man. Listen. But guys, they're both in here now.
I'm sorry, that was a very inappropriate question.
No, I just wonder what they think about things because they, we've been going through my trucks and stuff, and I will say this. You don't have to, because in the movies and TV and in real life, I've had a lot of weddings, and you don't have to. You can put up your best wedding photos in your house, whatever you want, and you don't have to keep that in your trunk because I'm embarrassed that didn't work out. Chris Farley was the best man in my second wedding.
Was he really?
Oh, that's
wedding.
Cool. So I got that up on the wall. That was a beautiful wedding. A lot of money was spent at that wedding. There's some great shots. My third wedding. You should see all the politicians in my third wedding.
Tom, tell me if this is going too far. I hate to ask you this question, but since you're bringing up all your ex-wives, I have to do it.
Yeah.
How much money do you think you've given in your life? I would imagine you've probably given.
You're talking about divorces?
Yeah, divorces. I would imagine. You're a man that's made a lot of money. You're very successful. What have you given to, are we talking $20, $30, $40 million you've had to pay out to all these ex-wives?
Keep in mind, the benchmark right now is Jeff Bezos' wife, who just took him for $55 billion.
Well,
so don't feel that bad, Tom.
She deserved it. She deserved every penny.
Do you feel resentment that you
started their business together?
That's true.
I would imagine you've had to pay out $20, $30 million to some of your.
Well, I didn't take any no alimony from Roseanne. That's where I blew up because we had no prenup, and California is a community property state, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna, I got a movie called The Stupid's coming up, and True Life hasn't even come out. I'm just gonna leave it all. I believe in myself, and I'm a man, and now that I look back on it, I could have had $50-60 million. I was like, what an idiot! I should have done, but no. But I'm fine with it. But I'll tell you, the truth is, you do this, you do the right thing with people.
Right.
You feel good about, but until you have kids, this is the first time I've had children. That's when it gets nonsense because then you say, well, there's always lawyers and family law stuff and back and forth. Yeah, then it gets very expensive because then people get. It becomes more personal.
How is your relationship though with your ex-wives? I mean, I would imagine you don't talk to Roseanne much these days, but I mean, like with all of your ex-wives, I mean, do you maintain any relationship with them?
I want the best for them. The great thing about all three of my first ones is we tried to have kids together. The first three, we failed, and they had kids immediately with they got married pretty quick to other guys that had kids the regular way. We tried in vitro the first three wives.
All right, I have to ask you that. What would a child, if and again, if I'm going too far, let me know. If you had a child with Roseanne Barr, what would that child be doing right now?
Well, geez, who knows? I'm grateful that I'm so grateful that I have my kids. I'm so grateful that I'm not quarantined with Roseanne. I'm so grateful. I'm sure she is too. But I'm grateful the way, because there is a God, things turned out the way they're supposed to. My kids, when I was 18 and worked at the meatpacking plant, my 17-year-old pregnant, and I had to go ask her dad, who's this giant farmer, if I could marry his daughter, who was in high school, and he wanted to murder me. And then it turned out she was lying, thank God. And from then on, I always wanted to have a family, but it worked out exactly like it was supposed to. And I'm glad, Mom, and I'm grateful the way it turned out, being a dad. And Roseanne, it was funny because Roseanne's kid, Buck, that she had with the bodyguard guy after me, I'm grateful to him too. But that kid, Roseanne, told me the one time we talked that he was a big fan of mine, and it really pissed her off. And so, however it turns out, I got to be a stepfather to her kids for a few years.
No, and listen, let me say this, Tom. Let me just say this in your defense. You sound like you're a great dad, and you're doing a great job with your kids. I mean, we have fun here, and we ask some funny and ridiculous questions, but in all truthfulness, you're a good dude, and you sound like you're a really good family man. And I've heard that about you, by the way. You're just a good dude. I just want to say this. Please be safe, you and your family. I say this to everyone, and I wish the best for you and your family. I always appreciate it when you take the time to come on this show. I know you don't have to, and we really do appreciate that. And please stay safe, my friend, and I'll tell Trumpy you said hello, okay?
Hey, and thank you very much, Chad. That's what I love about Avenatti, too. That's why I really have talked to him about it. And same thing with Michael Cohen and his family. Those guys, they're good family. And same thing, my heart goes out to you guys' family, too. Be safe and take care of yourselves.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate your time, my man.
Tom.
Thank you so much. There you go, Tom Arnold. I feel like I love Tom, by the way. I love talking to that guy. I feel like I could talk to that guy for hours.
I don't party, but if I was going to party,
Tom is awesome.
I would absolutely party with
I just love
Tom
these
Arnold.
stories of he said all these hot women that are in his neighborhood. And like you said, he hasn't gone on a date in 11 years, but he did not say that he's not sleeping with any of his neighbors. Oh, God, that just killed me.
I was never a big fan of him back in the day when
I'm glad he didn't say that when he was on.
No, I'm just saying, he was Roseanne's husband.
Yeah.
And maybe a part of that, he will always be Roseanne's husband, even though they've been apart for years and years.
But the quote of that interview
in his own right has made a career for himself.
Oh, yeah.
And
he's
actually a pretty funny guy.
Did you hear what besides the joke where he said, I'm glad I'm not in quarantine with Roseanne Barr, I asked him how much money he's paid out to his ex-wives, and he kind of alluded. He said, well, I'd have another $50 or $60 million.
Unbelievable.
50 or 60
He did
million
say that.
dollars.
He did say that.
Yes.
So do you think that he probably he never had a prenup? He just kept getting married without prenups?
You know what? We should have. He probably would have answered that question.
That would be a questionable decision.
He probably would have answered that if we asked him. I tried to ask him as many inappropriate questions as I could, but in a short period of time. But anyways, Tom Arnold, thank you so much for joining us.